Wait a minute. I got a new body, and I ain't told anyone about my little secret yet. So, what's your name, kid?
Tyler.
This one I definitely
what's up? We also have
the last stuff you guys mentioned. I have to rewatch this one for sure.
This is, like I said, this is my favorite one. So I've seen this one multiple times. I think it came on like Channel 13 a lot, like with people who don't know, and whatever your regular access channel was, Sundays afternoons.
Yeah, you had they show a lot of Chucky movies. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
USA, because I think they probably maybe it's connected to the licensing. So
it's
USA probably
to Universal.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
PayPal sponsors it
for me, which is crazy too, because I didn't know this until like looking it up right now. But the timeline on them being released, it's like 88 for the first one, and then 91 and 92, like bam. Between 2 and 3, there's a year release time, but the character's like boom, he's at this age now. I'm like, I didn't process
because they were well received. But they did do the time jump from 2 to 3, so they got rid of the Andy actor and aged
Alex
him up.
Vincent. Yeah, which I do, like I was mentioning, I like Justin Whalen, who's or Wallen, depending on how you pronounce. I'm not sure if you pronounce it correctly, but I liked him as the replacement Andy.
Oh yeah.
Because he played between this and also he played one of the versions of Jimmy Olsen on Lois and Clark, and he's also in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Like he was in a lot of things, and so I'm like, oh, that's that guy. I like that actor because I didn't know any better. But
we also get another stronger female character in this movie as well. After having his foster sister be kind of a strong one in the second one.
Yeah, De Silva.
Yeah. So she kind of shows up, which I thought was interesting as well. Kind of like that character, and that she kind of makes it through. And I think again, to me, the only weak part of this movie is Tyler, because he's just so annoyingly naive, and I mean to the point where you could expect that if he were 3.5, 4 years younger than he's portrayed as.
Yeah.
Well, bad military academy. Once again, they know what they're doing.
Well, he's just a bad child.
Andy?
Can't you read? He was supposed to get this package. Tampering with the mail is a federal offense.
So since this is your favorite movie, and Tyler's your annoying, are there more annoying characters in the other Child's Play movies? Does that make sense?
Yeah, there are very. I mean, I was annoyed with the mom in the first one just because she was also willfully ignorant, and I think I was just upset at the blatant evidence that Chucky leaves, and people are just like, I don't see it. You're the weird one. Like you're stepping in a pool of blood. I don't see it. Could be ketchup. Could be syrup.
Speaking of the comics, she's in the mental institution in there, and she plays more of a Sarah Connor. Why doesn't anyone believe me? Kind of. So just to, I guess.
That's awesome.
Just doing push-ups and snapping plastic chairs so she's ready to go when the time's right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities between this and Terminator, the series, but okay. Sorry, I had to put that in.
Hey,
that's awesome.
That's interesting.
Part
Good info.
2 predates Terminator 2. So Terminator 2 actually ripped off Child's Play.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. James Cameron ripping off another great idea. Great director, my ass. We got Bride. How is he killed? Is he shot up at the end of 3, right?
No, they go to a fair type thing, and they're in a funhouse place.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he ends up getting they blast off his hand or whatever, and he drops into a giant fan and just, and then so that's the again, it stops him at one point, and then he's able to be later. Oh, that's right. I remember where it goes next, because then it goes to Bride.
Then
that's
the left turn.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and how many years in between? Because that's quite a
7 years.
7. Okay, that's
so 91 to 98.
Yeah.
Make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely.
So it seems like you got a jumping on point there, Pat. You got a.
Oh, so this is where I get real fuzzy on what's happening. This basically my understanding, and it's been a long time since I've seen this one, but the former love interest of Charles Lee Ray, Tiffany, what's her name? Tiffany Valentine, gathers up the hunks of Chucky, and I want to make sure exactly, bribes a
Stitches them
police
back
officer
together.
to giving them the dismembered parts of the Chucky doll, which obviously Ray's soul is still inhabited in because it never goes away. What is his soul doing in there the whole time? Just like
Napping.
Leap.
Also, it's worth noting.
Or he's
too-
just angry, like, ah!
It's worth noting, like, so
Frustrated.
she hasn't picked it up from like the whatever the impound is for all this stuff, and in the impound, like, there's the glove from Chuck or from Freddy, and there's the hockey mask, and like there's all the little things in the background. He's like,
yeah,
this is what you wanted.
huh? Expanded universe, guys. Here we go.
Exactly.
So she brings Chucky back to life through voodoo magic, and then he immediately, I believe he immediately kills her and puts her in a doll.
Yes. Yep.
No, she's trapped because at one point he's trapped in a crib that's turned upside down. That's when she puts the doll in there, like, to mess with him, to tease him, and yeah, he does break free pretty
But
soon after.
he breaks free pretty quickly and kills her.
Yeah. Well, he also takes out like her boyfriend at the time too, I think. I'm trying to remember.
Yes.
It's been a while since
Yeah.
I've watched this one. Just watch, like, catch up clips and stuff, because like it's going through and watching all of them again seemed, especially after going through Curse and Colt, was just like, oh, okay, I'll just do some YouTube.
Yeah. Well, they were. I don't know if he got notes from the studio or whatnot, but Mancini said that he got inspiration, at least from Scream, in making this version of the movie, and that he also took the road trip aspect of it, I suppose, from Natural Born Killers.
Oh,
And he wanted to explore the romance, I guess, of these two doll characters more so than the killing itself. Like, Chucky's straightforward, like, I'm gonna murder people. So he wanted to get into comedy. He was inspired by Scream and Natural Born Killers when he made this version. So those movies are kind of why we're kind of all over the place, because
Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he finally got the okay to have more puppeteers, more dolls. They didn't let him go crazy with like a ton of dolls, but they were like, all right, we can at least do, we have a budget to get, because I think it takes 5 to 7 people to man the dolls. I think there's like just 5 dedicated just for the face of both dolls, and then the rest are for the body. So your budget's going to go up for that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Don Mancini's Jim Henson of horror.
Yeah.
Each doll requires 7 puppeteers to manipulate: a computer playback operator, a puppet coordinator to act as the liaison between the operators and the director. 3 puppeteers handle the movement of each doll's facial features, which relayed through the use of radio controlled transmitters. All the dolls, other things below the head movement, were cable operated. So again, that's part of the reason why they were like, yeah, again, not multiple dolls, buddy. You get 1.
Yeah.
This is why claymation fell off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, and that's where, like, now we're just like, oh, well, we'll just cut and paste all those dolls in the background. We'll just have them on rigging so they wobble back and forth while we're doing our scene. And
or we'll CGI this shit.
Yeah,
Bam, bam,
exactly.
bam.
Well, and there's also, I think with Jennifer Tilly, they introduced actual people in a lot of the shots, because the first 2 or 3 movies, he was, kind of like the Muppets. They would like move the legs with the wires and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think in this movie they actually have, I forget the name of the actress. She's actually well known. A small person. Little person, is that? I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. Yes, a little person actress. She was very well known. I don't know if I can find. You can see her in the characters list actually, if you guys want to scroll through that. But she's in the movie, and they start introducing more like little people actors in some of the action sequences of the movie
To make it a little easier to film some of that.
Correct. Yeah. Maybe she's not in Bride of Chucky, but I know she was in Bride of Chucky, but I don't know if she's listed in Seed of Chucky. Maybe she might be.
That's
one of the
Katherine
characters.
Heigl in Bride. I forgot that
Yes.
Katherine Heigl. That's crazy.
Yeah. Right.
She's like, before 27 dresses, I'm gonna do that movie.
It's a good follow-up.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good double feature right there.
Was this the one
27
where
dresses
they
in Chucky.
So was this the one where they started with in the cage, at the evidence cage, and had all the iconic mask? And I just remember Jason and Michael Myers.
Yep.
Was Freddy in it? I don't remember.
Yeah.
The glove. It's always the glove.
Debbie Lee Carrington is the little person who plays her, and she's been in other stuff since then, obviously. But yeah, super performers were brought in for this movie.
Yeah, I think they. I mean, this was the first one they didn't do any of it before? I thought some of them had certain scenes, like at least.
Well, no, like I said, they used wires, and so you would see his feet and his fingers and stuff. You wouldn't see like the way he kind of walks now, especially in the series. You can tell it's by the camera angles that they shoot down and stuff like that. But it's a little more fluid movement because it's an actual person. They just kind of do some camera tricks and do the old Lord of the Rings trickery.
Force perspective. Yeah,
exactly.
Gotcha.
So we got her coming back. Does she explain why she puts it back together in this movie, or is this more backstory that they kind of superimpose later on in the series?
Just that he's an old flame. He's just
she loved him.
She loved him, and then we eventually get to the point in the TV series that they were together way back when, even before the first movie, and then there's more spoilers on that too. But yeah, she's been there from the beginning for Charles, so like there's a lot of history there that was alluded to and then got filled in by the show.
My other question is, does her, I guess, binding to the doll, is she on a truncated time schedule like he is now because he's been in the doll for so long? Like he's normally like, I got to get out of this within like a day or two, or I'm stuck forever. I feel like she was truncated as well. Like she has to kind of be in a rush like he does.
It gets wonky.
The next episode, the next movie doesn't help to clear that up, but also does and doesn't. We're all over the place on the next movie too. So, because within this one, they are trying to get his original amulet, and they were going to use the two lovers that they found as their new bodies, but then they get thrown off course, and that goes awry. I don't know what else happens because
the two lovers are trying to elope. They're on a road. The two lovers themselves are on a road trip, and as they're going through this road trip, the dolls stash away, keep murdering people, and the two people that are eloping are now wondering, like, wait, am I about to marry a murderer? Because people keep winding up dead wherever the two of us go, and it's not me. It must be the other person.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've watched this one. These after 3, I didn't enjoy the series as much because it went, I don't know, like you said, it went. Whereas like I may have enjoyed Scream, like I didn't keep on with these. Like it wasn't my main. There's so much other media to watch still. I was like, all right, let's jump over here instead. So
and this just got so sideways wonky.
Yeah,
I mean, and because I believe this one ends with the birth of Glendora, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's our twist ending.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that also proposes that these dolls are anatomically correct.
Yeah, that's something else too.
But then Glenn doesn't have genitals.
Yeah.
I can't comment.
Yeah, it's just.
I almost just feel like that's kind of seed of Chucky.
Yeah, it's kind of. I guess
or is it Method Man's in it?
Yeah, if you go with the presumption that the longer they stay in the bodies, the more material they become. That's the best I could give you, because initially he's just he is literally just like plastic and whatnot, and then part of the story is that he eventually gets like blood and he becomes more real. And I forget which movie it is, because he pricks his finger and he bleeds, and like, oh wait, this is weird. Like he's like, oh, the longer you stay in this body, the more you will adapt to it. So maybe
I think it was 2, right?
It's all spread across so far in my brain. I don't remember, but I would imagine that maybe it's like, oh, right, well, I've been in this body long, because it is like also the stapled together body too. So it's like he's been in that body longer than anyone. So now,
correct.
Here he is.
Well, that's why I was asking, is she on the truncated thing too? Because that again, that would agree that she developed genitalia, because if she would have to have been in her body long enough.
You're going
down her doll like that
I don't think any of us would ever wanted to.
Yeah,
I'm sure,
but it'll be covered in season 2. It's going to be covered in season. Here's how dolls get genitals. It's going to be like a whole sidebar. It'll be
Alright,
like
so
they'll have
we're
a
gonna blow through
flashback
Cedar
of
Chucky?
him growing a dick.
I mean-
speaking of sexual innuendos, which one did John Ritter appear in?
Number Bride. He's
Was
in
Bride?
Bride.
Yeah.
I love Three's Company. So,
I think he's the father of Katherine Heigl, if I'm not mistaken.
Is he? I know he's like the sheriff, but I didn't know if he was. I guess we gotta.
If you're the sheriff, you have to be the father of one of the main characters.
That's
That's how
fair.
that works.
So he's Sheriff Warren Kincaid.
I
And
love
she-
the Hellraiser reference that he did to it with the nails in his head.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. They put all the nails in there.
Man, they're really thirsty to get a crossover going.
See, I mean, it's right there for the taking.
and for video game
So-
players, I don't
Ready to watch.
I don't think he's playable. Chucky's not playable in the Dead by Daylight game, right? Like there's a lot of different people who are downloadable and playable in that game, but I don't think he's one of them. It's
I don't
surprising
know
how
why he
you're
wouldn't
there.
be.
He would
He'd
be
like the odd job of
Can't
the
do
game.
that.
Yeah.
It's mainly I would think mainly because of the model. Like you have to have a model that's able to pick up characters and do stuff, and he can't physically do that. Like he could, but I mean, you can
we
magic
were
away.
just talking about this. Yeah, we were trying to figure out his supernatural strength and abilities.
He has
Yeah.
magic voodoo strength.
He does.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that answers my question because I was like, what is the strength based off of? Because if it's based off of muscle, he'd be the heaviest doll that you ever picked up. And if
So,
it's
yeah,
like,
It's
you know,
plastic.
yeah.
It's like
And then I was like, oh, maybe it's just size wise. He's like the strength of a 3-year-old or something. Very angry 3-year-old.
The other question related to that is how does he feel pain? He doesn't have nerves and
Yes. Well, he does. That's the interesting part. He can feel pain sometimes, and he can also turn it off. It
Yeah,
seems
'cause-
like.
Okay.
because that's what they do. They do that later on. So that's the weird like the lower is only as strong as we want it to be. So it's like eventually like you're going to start to grow into your body. But then later on in Cult, I want to say they burn the hand of one of them to see like he's
Yeah.
not alive, and they burn his hand, and he's just like, and so that there's nothing there. And
And
Then
fire has been the one. But fire has been the one thing that every time they've needed to reveal him, it's been fire.
yeah, Fire's been like I think in the new series he even says like, oh yeah, there's like 3 things I really don't like. It's like fire, big fans, and handguns or something. I can't remember. I remember that Fire's one of
Because
the
they blow up
big
chunks of
fans
his
aren't.
body.
Yeah.
He's a weird son.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because it seems like since is it 2, 3, he's been rehabilitated or reborn with blood, like from the
Refurbished.
get-go, like refurbished with blood each time. So it seems it would beg the question that he could feel pain right out of the box. Like usually in 1 and 2, it took time for him because over time he would start to feel it as he got more human. Now he's out of the box. People are dropping him left and right. They're beating him up, stuff like that, and he just is inert. And then when he decides to come back alive, he's kind of like, oh, I have a headache or something like that. And it's just weird. He also has a high tolerance for pain too. He will get chunks of him lobbed off, and he just keeps going.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't get stopped by blood loss until the story demands it. And then it's just like, all right.
I just
did it.
remembered. Sorry, going back to Glenn having no genitals, didn't he pee in one scene?
I
Yes.
don't know.
no.
He does.
Seed of Chucky. I
Yeah.
forgot why he peed. For some reason, I have an image in my head of him peeing on the floor.
Into some
Forgot
weird
to
shit,
read.
man.
I have selective memory about my
That's- Oh man, so just smooth like a Ken doll, except for I hadn't thought about that, and I know that because they talk about like in the. I mean, I guess we're moving on to 4 to 5 now. 5.
Yeah, we're in C.
Hold on, we didn't even Cedar Chucky, right? Is that where we're at?
Yeah,
that's 5.
That's where. Yeah,
Okay.
we're moving into 5 now. So he's been like he's kept as like a sideshow thing, and until he breaks free because like somebody found him and raised him for his little sideshow, which still exists. If I'm remembering correctly, he breaks free and then ends up finding the like a movie set where they're doing the movie. That's the story?
Yeah.
Someone's just making a film, and I don't even remember how the Tiffany and Chucky come back.
Well, I think that's more of the Scream inspiration because remember they did that in 2, right? Was it 2 or 3, where they referenced Slash or whatever the movie's called?
Oh yeah, in 2 is when they first mentioned like the movie adaptation.
Yeah.
Glenn uses the heart of Damballa,
That's
the
the medallion.
voodoo
That's the
amulet to
amulet.
bring, to bring them back.
Okay.
And Chucky, and this is when Chucky learns he has a son, and he faints.
Ba-da-bum-ba-dum-bum.
Wah! Murderous
that's the thing
doll,
that'll make him
still a
faint,
bad
yeah.
dad.
Yeah. This series is bonkers. Like, it's so bonkers.
Like, I
But
don't
he's
even.
not conscious when
Oh,
he.
it was Red Man. It wasn't Method Man. My apologies. Method Man's too classy for this.
That's when they decided to go solo.
Yes.
So
Think
long full movies. Yeah.
So Ray, you're saying
Yeah.
who wasn't conscious at the time, or what was the?
Chucky, I guess Tiffany as well, because we were talking about what is their body doing when they're not immobile or blown.
Yeah. Well, these weren't even the original bodies too. Like, they were just they were more
Stuck
movie
in some
props.
kind of doll purgatory or something like that.
Yeah, there's just lights are off. No one's home.
Yeah.
Well, this goes back to the or I think murder's reward aspect of I guess hell and deals. Basically, it seems the more murderous you are, the more chances hell gives you to like become a murderer.
Well,
'Cause
yeah,
it happened
they're
to Spawn
like,
too. Like Spawn was a notorious like murderer, and they're like, "Oh, we'll give you this great power to go back and keep killing people." And it's like, well, wait a minute, is that how the games work?
yeah,
That's-
you're really good at it.
Fair? I mean, because again, as you were saying, like Charles Lee Ray should have just gone straight to hell.
No,
It'd be like one of
send
the
him
devil's
back
greatest
because
trophies
he's
there.
great at this. And maybe he goes to hell, and then he just keep getting called back. Like, he's like the cop out in the woods. We one
Keep
more
pulling me back
job.
in. Go ahead. Are you? So is this Kareem? Where you gonna insert the Key and Peele sketch? Where it's like,
Yes.
go ahead, try and hit me.
Exactly.
Gut shot, go! Caught it. You caught the bullet. So you're telling me that the bullet is in between your hands right now? That's what I'm telling you. Is that all you got? Come on. Headshot. Headshot, let's go. I'm ready. Wait 1 second though.
Yeah, I just to Ray's point though, I'm like, what are they doing when is he actually in hell? Or we're assuming if this were
Is there a doll heaven and hell that they go
Yeah.
to? Or is there a
Is-
God
or-
dolls that judges
Well,
them?
If I
Not like you,
assume
like-
if,
Yeah.
I assume if they were just locked in the doll as a prison and just inanimate, then they would mention that when they become animated again. So yeah, they must not truly be completely removed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's or even even if you think about like the Hulk, where he's like when Banner comes back on Sakaar, he's like, no, I was locked in the trunk and the other guy had the wheel. Like they don't even talk about that. They're just like, oh, here I am. Like there's no
back, baby, murder time.
Well, this will bring me to my question that I kind of had in the notes too, is because again, there obviously is a supernatural element to this universe. Where are the supernatural like police?
Oh, no,
Like,
that doesn't exist.
Well,
No,
I'm just saying like, because
The voodoo police.
as we're gonna get into after you get out of this like cursed cult Seed of Chucky scenario, those 3 movies, and we get back into some like semi-normal storylines. Why doesn't Andy just become a goddamn doll?
No, but the question is, why doesn't Andy learn voodoo to combat Chucky? Like, why doesn't Andy go down that route? He's like, oh, I'm gonna go kill all the dolls. Like, why don't you just, how he did it? You're the one that knows, because he tried to do it to you like 25 times.
So you're
Well, no,
saying
I think he knows how to get into a doll.
Wait, what's
He's
up,
know how
Ray?
to stop a doll.
Oh no,
You
I
know
guess
that,
you
right?
guys are asking why aren't there like counter good magic, right?
Why
Yeah.
has no one gone down everyone's like, physical violence will stop him? They did, didn't they, Ken? They did. You're gonna tell us they did.
No, because he didn't have the amulet. He couldn't do that. You need the amulet to start this whole process.
But then why didn't he could have he doesn't need to be a doll, but he could like do the research into voodoo to like, okay, so how do I get rid of a spirit that's stuck in a doll and like banish it forever?
He's scared of it. I mean, and by the way, I would be too if my life was his so far. Like I'd be scared of, like,
but he also has dedicated his life to getting rid of Chucky. Like,
but
point,
I mean, again, at this point, why not just make yourself immortal like Chucky?
Yeah.
Well, you really want to keep doing this?
Yeah, you want to be locked in this. I mean, you can at least enjoy a good steak, and I don't know, like life is life.
Yeah.
Oh no, I mean, technically speaking, what Andy's seen, he can jump from body to body if he chose to.
Yeah, but I think Andy is not a bad guy that wants to steal people's bodies.
No, but I'm saying if push comes, the idea is that Andy is a guardian at least as of right now. His job is to just go around killing Chuckies.
Not in this point in the series, but yeah, go on.
Well, not in this point. I mean, like I said, when we get out of the curse cult part of Chucky,
once we get to the TV show,
yeah, his job is basically, or his life has been killing Chucky, regardless. And so I'm saying, if you are human and soulbound, like Andy can be killed and not come back. From what Andy can tell right now, Chucky can be killed and keeps coming back. So why not put yourself into a doll and finish the job? And at some point, if you decide to, you can jump into a different body.
I mean, we're talking TV timeline now. I would say that he doesn't want to give up his humanity, because it's to give up your humanity to defeat them. At what point do you become the monster yourself? And you're just saying, like, you just become the monster. It's fine. Become the monster. It's like, no, I'm going to retain my humanity, and I still want to live a life. I just feel like I should probably stop.
But what life are you living if your only goal in life, if you wake up every morning, is to kill a doll?
You've only seen snapshots. Like he's got a whole nother thing on the side. Like
let's put it this way. He's got, I would assume, and this is a big assumption on my part. I think I take every fault with this. Severe PTSD.
Oh yeah,
he is
1,000%.
Exactly. So at this point, if all you've seen is murder around every corner, under every bed, in every closet, in any small crevice that can house a doll's body, a Chucky can be there. Why not inoculate yourself by saying, all right, if you come after me, I'm as immortal as you are? Because right now, if Andy went to sleep and Chucky somehow got in the house, he can slash his throat. That's the end of Andy. Andy never comes back. Chucky wins. As doll Andy, he can cut up the doll and Andy can go somewhere else and come back and be like, you're not going to win this. Until every piece of you is gone, I'm going to keep coming back as well.
I think there's a level of not wanting, just to do exactly what I said, not wanting to do that.
Okay.
He's like, no, I want to mean that's the best. I know, Ray, you got a different take, or
why would he want? I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, please go ahead. Go, please.
No, I was just saying, I just where's the good counter spell for this voodoo? Is all this voodoo evil, bad, or is there such thing as good voodoo? Can he retain his humanity if he put himself into the doll? If he becomes immortal, he can. He's still conscious enough to want to stop Chucky, right? So does that still make him?
It doesn't seem like putting yourself in the doll with voodoo changes your personality. Like both Charles Lee Ray and Tiffany were murdiddly-erders.
Yeah, beforehand. So,
yeah.
But they're the only two we have as a point of reference too. So it's like, did they go more crazy and we just didn't know it because they were already?
No, he was already a murderer before that.
Right, but I'm saying, but did they go like? He's like, now and right now I'm at a 10, but now I'm at 11. Like we don't see a scale. We don't know.
Well, that's a pretty bad scale.
That's what I'm saying. Like
they're human when they were human.
Here's the other question too, though, because at least they established that spirits are a thing in this world. How has Chucky not run into or another spirit taken over? Something, beat him to the punch. There are ghosts around.
None of them had the amulet.
There's only one amulet.
Yeah, that's why they had to go to his body in 4. Yeah.
I guess I'm curious. Now we're opening up to a bigger world about the voodoo world. What else is out there? And
that's what I'm saying. Spirits. I mean, we're at least dealing with the world of spirits, regardless of amulets or not.
No, not regardless of amulets. That's part of the lore
No,
from the first
no.
from the first movie.
If
It's in there.
If his spirit can move across bodies with amulet, that means they're establishing a world of spirits, regardless of amulet or not. The amulet is just a conduit to another body.
Right. And
so they're a ghost in this world.
Okay.
They just can't get into bodies right now.
Maybe not. Maybe they can't at all unless you have that amulet. Maybe that's the thing that.
But they're establishing a spirit regardless of that. Like a body has a spirit.
Okay.
Well, but you can also divvy up the soul or spirit, whatever they're calling it. Like
right.
You can divvy it up. Like he's multi-Chucky now.
Yeah. Once he's gone through the first process. Oh, we lost him again.
Yeah, but like you said, there's multiple spirits. So I guess back to our question of what are they doing when they're not in the body? Maybe they're just hanging out with those spirits.
They could be. They never make any mention of it. They just kind of it's just like a light on and off switch.
Yeah, I think we have to work under the assumption they are elsewhere, and then they are brought back, and at some point they will delve into where the spirits go, because they'll run out of topics and they'll run out of plot points with this, and then they'll have to go deeper and deeper into the lore. Deeper and deeper.
No, just bring back Glenn.
They are going to. I think
Glenn without a penis.
I'm pretty sure we're going to come back because that's. I mean, we're at 5 right now, so this is when you get Tiffany taking over the body of Jennifer Tilly.
Yes,
who is the actress Jennifer Tilly, who looks a lot like Tiffany. They take over. They kidnap her, and then. I'm trying to remember the movie's so bonkers, but like they're gonna like possess Method Man at one point, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
Redman. Was it
Redman?
Redman.
Not
Yeah.
Sorry,
Redman.
Red. My bad, Red. Like Method.
Yeah,
get it straight, son.
Isn't it like he's gonna take over Redman, she takes over Jennifer Tilly, and then he decides he likes being a doll because he's immortal and can kill as much as he wants because it's fun for him, so he doesn't take over Redman.
But and he gonna do it even though it's not Tyler. It's no one he's revealed himself to. He could just do it because he can. So that part of the discussion's already gone now. Well, whatever. But then Tiffany does inhabit Jennifer Tilly. She ends up having twins, Glenn and Glenda.
Yes.
And then they split the souls into those two children too.
I don't know where I got Glendora. I think just the city and Ring and Lord of the Rings. It sounds like a fantasy name now.
That's fine.
So,
You're watching Rings
Glenda.
of Power. We're all there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's the after credit scene is that the two kids are born and they're running around and Jennifer Tilly's like, oh, I'm actually Tiffany in here. But then maybe Jennifer Tilly is in Tiffany's doll body.
The doll.
Yeah. Or she split herself. We don't know.
Well, spoiler alert. Think we're gonna find that out in season 2.
Yeah. A lot of this is just like they're just still trying to unbox the madness of what we see in season 1, and then like, oh well, that's gonna pay off. Good God, like this is, and there's still 2 whole movies to get through, and we're right here, and then a TV series. That's how.
And the remake that no one's talking about.
Don't bring that up.
Yeah. Oh, Mark Hamill.
Roomba Chucky.
Well, that's right. Mark Hamill voiced.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
so like that's the variant in the TVA. He's like, oh no, it's a different timeline.
If it ain't Dorf, I don't want it.
All right.
Was there ever a Chucky video game? Sorry, off tangent.
There's a Chucky video game.
Was there a Chucky video
How
game?
are you finding this stuff, Ray?
For some reason, I haven't.
I'm looking now.
I
mean, it was the 80s and 90s. They made a video game out of everything.
That's true. While you guys are looking, I'm going to start Curse of Chucky.
Curse of Chucky, yeah.
Which is in 2011. So that was a good break for them for a little bit.
Oh, this is 2012? What is this?
They were going to make a Child's Play video game. It got canceled.
Oh, okay.
Kareem, please continue with The Curse of Chucky.
So in 2011, a good guy doll called Chucky mysteriously arrives in the mail at the isolated home of paraplegic Nika Pierce and her mother Sarah. who was, I guess, repeatedly and compulsively painting pictures of a flower, which plays into some more lore that they start building out. And Nika is the actress is actually played by Chucky, the voice of Chucky's actual daughter. Is in this movie. She's introduced into this. Chucky. This is when they start going. This is the. I guess when he comes to life, he kills the mom, frames the Barb, I believe, is the sister of Nika as well, and starts going on his like killing spree. Basically, it's a movie between him and a paraplegic. Is the battle against the protagonist and antagonist in this movie.
Yeah.
I believe they bring back Andy in this one as well.
They as an after credit scene. So
Yeah.
they do. But it's basically, and also you find out in the lore that she's paralyzed because of him, because he Charles Lee Ray
as a human
had an affair with the
last
mom, maybe.
No, they kidnapped her.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Okay.
then like stabs
And
her in the stomach
assaulted
when she's pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which she is born paralyzed. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that's kind of all for the story. I don't know. Anyone got any other? I have no notes. This gets bonkers from here. I mean,
This
it's
is
already
just
bonkers.
this is the introduction of Andy going full on, I'm gonna murder this doll, because I think the doll shows up to kill Andy at the very end, and he shoots him with a shotgun.
Introduction's a bit bold considering it's like it's a less than 5 minutes after credit scene. Like, but this is the return of Alex.
Well, this is the very first vision we get of a prepared Andy, because up until this point, Andy's always been kind of like on the defensive.
Yeah.
In each of the movies,
been gone
he's kind
for
of wound
2
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did they say where he was gone to? I don't remember.
No, just that because essentially the big thing is the after credit scene, and it starts with like getting a package, and he's on the phone with his mom, and he's like, "Hey, mom, how are you? You know, oh no, I haven't heard from Kyle," or something like that. Like there's like just little lore bits of drops, and then you see the doll try to start to get out, and then he comes out, and he's just like, "I got you."
He was unboxing himself.
Yeah.
Well, this is the acknowledgement that he realizes that Chucky's sort of immortal.
Yeah. And that leads into, I mean, and I don't know, does anyone have anything about the
Cult
curse
of Chucky?
Curse.
I think
Curse of Chucky, I kind of skipped over. I watched it maybe once. I don't think I've never really gone back to revisit that one.
Same.
Seed, Bride of Chucky, I've seen a couple times. Cult of Chucky, I've seen maybe twice. So I know that one a little bit more. But Curse was like his children, twin stuff, and the paraplegic stuff. I was like, I couldn't get into it.
Curse is just kind of like, it seems more like a book of lore. That's like kind of what the idea is, like, let's just give you the history of some of the stuff. And then
kind of got back to the slasher roots a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And then when we get to the one in the hospital, and for Colt, that's the one that's just like, what is happening here? And like, he's still like, this is where we get more of Andy trying to stop him. This is when we get, and also in all this, the daughter is framed for all of it, so she gets committed, and they have to, like, it's her story of her trying to explain things, and it's bonkers, because that's when you start to get the 3 active dolls all at one point, and I'm like, no, this doesn't make it, like, no, you're trying to play a shell game until finally the finale, and they're like, they're all him. Like, what?
He can do whatever he wants. Going to possess her and him and you and you and you and even you.
Exactly. This is the one where I was like, it was just, I mean, I keep saying that it goes off the rails, but like the rails this is where it takes flight, where it's just like, what is going on here?
This is Car in Space Fast 9. This is the moment. This is the, like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
Well, this is also, I think, one of the moments where I guess technically, Curse of Chucky would be the Fast and Furious 4 moment.
Where it starts to tie them all back together. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
because you start getting back a bunch of actors in at least Cult of Chucky. You
So
get
that's
back
five.
Jennifer Till.
So Curse of
Right,
Chucky.
but I'm saying
the
but what I'm saying is that ending scene
yeah.
in
You're gonna have a
Curse
lot
of
of credits
Chucky
in 5 minutes. Like that last 5 minutes just made the movie for you.
Well, because you just said in that 5 minutes we get introduced to Andy and his mom. Basically Andy, his mom, and Chucky are back in the same scene in 5 minutes, and then you get all of the lore on how the paraplegic gets involved into this, and like how that goes back to like, her history and Charles Lee Ray's history before he turns into the doll.
And then they rob that bank in Rio. They mess up the city real bad. So,
But yeah, it's you get 7 actors from the previous films in Cult of Chucky now. That all makes sense.
Yeah.
And you have
So
Nika,
now
which is now
Yeah, Nika.
we've kind of tied all of the movies together in this hodgepodge of insanity. And where we're left is Chucky can now split himself up into multiple bodies and can possess humans along with dolls.
Mm-hmm.
correct.
That's where we end up.
Although one of the actors that was possessed was just the same person acting it. Remember that's the reveal at the end, sort of or at the end of that person's life.
And then Tiffany, as Jennifer Tilly, shows up too at the end to pick up Nika.
Yeah,
Nika,
who Chucky has possessed.
Yeah. No. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Chucky, the TV series.
We're an hour 22 minutes into this. This is madness.
We need to go through like 6 movies.
Is that 7?
Seven.
Seven.
Seven movies.
Seven
Not
movies.
counting the remake.
7 little squirrels spinning on a branch, eating lots of nuts on my uncle's ranch. That old sailor song from
No,
No, not 6. I said 7. Nobody's coming up with 6. Who works out in 6 minutes? You won't even get your heart going, not even a mouse on a wheel.
Good point.
7's the key number here. Think about it.
Right.
7
Seven,
11s,
yeah.
7 dwarfs. 7, man, that's the number. 7 chipmunks twirling on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. You know that old children's tale from the sea?
6 minute abs. No one can do anything in 6 minutes.
Yeah, you break a sweat. Oh man.
Yeah, now we're finally at the show, which is also just as confusing.
Yeah, like it's like initially too, I was like, well, what? Because the story it starts out kind of slow in the idea of like, oh well, what are we going to acknowledge? Is it completely cut off? Because in between the gap there, I think we may have had the reboot, and then we get this TV, yeah, and so now we're like. I'm like, well, what's the lore? What's gonna be? And then they're like, it's everything. It all exists.
We are not cutting shit. You will deal with all of this. We will half explain it. Good fucking luck, assholes.
Yeah. Bonkers down.
This TV show demands that you have seen every Chucky movie, or at the very least, read the synopsis to understand anything that is happening outside of the main plot. Which involves they're middle schoolers, right?
Yeah,
no,
that threw me off.
Is it middle school?
Yes,
I thought it was junior high.
Middle school.
I'm sorry. I thought it was.
Well, I mean, it's
thought
not high school.
I'm sorry. I thought it was high school. I don't know what.
I thought it was too, and it wasn't until I think I read like the description of one of the episodes, and they mentioned middle school, and I'm like, oh, these kids are only in middle school. This is a lot of exploration for middle school.
Yeah.
These middle schoolers are way smarter than
this is the
I am now, let alone.
Well, they're also like drinking and partying and doing drugs in middle school.
What's up, Ray?
Like, at least in high school.
They probably understand the lore more than us.
Oh, way more. Way more. They can say explain it front and back.
What they didn't mention was this is the Euphoria Junior Middle School. Like that's
that explains everything.
So we start off with who's our main guy?
I don't remember all the characters' names.
Wheeler. Is that his name?
I honestly don't.
14-year-old Jake Wheeler.
Jake. Yeah. Okay.
Jake is our main character.
And he buys a good guy doll at a yard sale, which in Hackensack is the name of the town that Charles Lee Ray's from.
Because he does art. That's why he buys the doll, because he's an artist.
He does weird doll art.
and it's shown later on that the person who placed the doll there was Jennifer Tiffany in her red coat. They do like a swap around thing later on. Like, look, she planted it there for him.
This is where we get a little Saw like, where it's like, the reveals, here they come.
Would you like to play a game?
Another
I
doll
don't
on a bike.
What would you like to play one?
We could do a puzzle too. I'm okay with that.
I like puzzles. How many pieces?
They call me Jigsaw for a reason.